Hey everyone, it's Raz here. Welcome to my Havoc Demon Hunter No-Mover guide on defeating Azta'rec on .. difficulty. Now, I'll start off by showing you all the kill video, and then after that we will go over my personal tips and tricks for defeating this boss. So at the time of me defeating Azta'rec, my Valeera was level 46. I had her as a healer. I had Frostheart Venom, Corrosive Bile Spear, and Soul Cracking Dreamcatcher as my curios. This was my eye level at the time of defeating him. And then I also actually have a specific talent build just for this boss. I will link the talent build in the description. Now, you'll notice during my kill video, I actually did not have the add-on, and I will discuss why that is afterwards in my tips and tricks section. However, I will say by the time I got around to editing this video, which was Thursday the 27th, and I defeated him on Monday the 24th, apparently the add-on no longer works. Even though I didn't end up using it anyway, I will discuss why I didn't use it, and then I'll also discuss my best tips and tricks for doing this without any sort of add-on. All right, that out of the way, let's just get into the kill video.
Magic. Crimson orb will restore you. Get inside the circle. Drown in death. Venom burn deep, flesh and bone. Destruction.
The hunt.
Circle.
The crimson orb
Where?
will restore you.
Okay. Swear.
The hunt.
Stay here and recover.
Venom burn deep, flesh and bone. Drown in death. Destruction. Poison your blood.
Keep fighting. I'll shield you.
The hunt.
Stay here and recover. Hit. I've got a spell too. Dispel.
Circle.
Hit. Rinse and orb will restore you. Hit. Drawn a healing circle. Hit. That's on target.
Fucking god.
Keep fighting. I'll shield you. Get inside the circle.
Oh. God. Fuck that. Alright, now that we've seen the kill video, for my tips and tricks, let's first go over the elephant in the room, the memory game. So, I actually did try to use the add-on back when it was working. So here's some footage of me attempting to do this boss with the add-on. So how the add-on worked was you would just click the circles, just like Simon says, in the order that he would do his thing or whatever. And I found this to be infinitely more chaotic trying to click these pie slices while I was fighting the boss and trying to interrupt and trying to dodge around. It was just too much for me. Well, good news for you all if you're watching this and you haven't defeated the boss yet, this add-on no longer works. So you're gonna have to brute force it, which is exactly what I did because I found clicking these pie slices to be very chaotic. Now, literally this fight just depends on you having a good memory. I have ADHD and extreme short-term memory issues. So this fight actually took me 3 hours to do. Yes, 3 hours. And that's literally because my memory is so bad. My short-term memory is so bad. I couldn't even remember the name of the boss. If you look at my talent build, I literally named it Dude Guy because I couldn't even remember his name. So I have horrible memory issues. And so this fight literally took me 3 hours because I just don't have short-term memory. I just don't, okay? I just had to brute force this, and you'll notice during my kill video, you can hear me very quietly saying the symbols to each other, and I would just have to say them to myself and just try to remember. And here is proof that it took me 3 hours. Those are my 2 recordings. You can see one is 48 minutes long. The other one is 2 hours long. That's the best tip that I have for you. And I wish I had something even better for you, but That's basically it. I honestly, in my opinion, Blizzard should stop doing bosses like this where, for example, I think Neleus and Zekvir were very good examples of bosses that really made you use your character's toolkit and really made you do damage without relying on something else like your own personal memory. But yeah, for me, this just did take such a long time because I have terrible, terrible short-term memory. And you can hear me saying the symbols very, very quietly to myself because yes, this is my fault for waiting until the last minute. I was doing this at like 1 a.m. on Monday because I wanted the Fabled achievement, and I was very, very tired. Here is an example of what I sounded like in the beginning of the night. Circle. X. Circle X. Square. Circle X square. Diamond. Circle X square diamond. Yeah, so that's how I sounded in the beginning of the night. I was confident. I was like, yeah, I got this. I can just say these to myself. And then towards the end of the night, you heard what I sounded like. I started to get so quiet. My mic is like barely even picking me up as I'm trying to say the symbols. My best tip is just say the symbols out loud, keep repeating them back to you. And if you're really struggling, maybe find a friend, find a buddy to stream to in Discord and have them help you out with the memory game. Because fact of the matter is, not everybody has a good short-term memory. And I really wish that that was not the whole reliance on this fight. Because when we look at it, the rest of the fight really isn't too bad. So let's get into the rest of the tips and tricks that do not involve the memory game. So the first biggest tip is obviously the soul extinction. That needs to be interrupted or else you will die. Both the boss does this cast, and then also the ad that spawns does this cast. So the minute that he goes to the center, you want to focus down the ad. So yeah, anyway, just make sure to interrupt that soul extinction and definitely DPS down the ad as fast as possible. And unfortunately, the ad spawns at the same time that you are trying to do the memory game. So honestly, don't focus on rotation, just focus on the memory game, just keep hitting the ad, and the ad will die. And on that same note about the soul extinction interrupt, there is actually currently a bug with this boss on that soul extinction, so heads up, listen closely. So I noticed that if I threw in all of my damage right at the start of the fight, the soul extinction cast would actually overlap my interrupt, meaning that he would cast it twice in a span of time before my interrupt was even available to cast. So I would just die most of the time. There was one way around this. I would shadow meld the cast, and then he would start casting it on Valeera, which gave me a couple extra seconds for my interrupt to come back up off cooldown. But if you're not a night elf, obviously this is not going to work. And this is definitely a bug. This should not be happening. So what I ended up having to do is at the beginning of the fight, I would slow damage a little bit and I wouldn't push him super hard so that that bug would not happen. So if you've been trying to defeat this boss and you've been wondering why your soul extinction cast is coming up before your interrupt is off cooldown, that is why. Very, very unfortunate. My next biggest tip is you'll notice that when he's not in the middle, I'm kind of fighting him around the edges. And that is so that I can point the frontal away from the center. You definitely want to try to do this as much as possible because when he does this frontal, it spawns a bunch of poison pools and you're going to want to keep those away from the center as much as possible so that you're not taking extra bonus damage during the memory game. Not only that, but these puddles are going to spawn the waves. And so when he's about to do his wave cast, you want to try to run to the middle as much as possible, assuming that you have tried to spawn the frontal on the edges as much as possible. And you really, really, really got to dodge these waves. They do a ton of damage. If you get hit by one, it's not a one shot, but it's definitely not good. Now, this guy autos really, really hard, so make sure to make use of Valeera's healing orbs. They're essentially an entire health pot, so try to save them for when you're taking a whole bunch of damage. Try to stand near them if you can, and go and run and pick one up. My last tip and trick, remember that this is not a super hardcore DPS race. It really is about just dodging the waves, doing the memory game, and getting the interrupt. You'll notice that throughout my kill video, I definitely was not doing the proper rotation, and honestly, that's because I was so focused on the memory game and I was so focused on everything else that I was just pushing buttons. There are some times where things did line up and I managed to do the rotation correctly, but honestly, just do the mechanics, do the memory game to the best of your ability, and you'll be okay. All right, well, that just about does it for my tips and tricks. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely leave a comment on this video. I do try to read all of the comments, and best of luck in defeating this boss. All right, y'all have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!